Greetings, Throw It on Thursday, folks. It's Patsy the Angry Nerd here, broadcasting live from, I don't know, I think I want to call it the bunker, because we are kind of in the basement, in the apartment, our apartment's in the basement. I kind of want to call it the bunker, but I don't, man cave or man room is not, it doesn't work for me. Um, if you have any thoughts or suggestions on what I should call the room, leave them down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Um, we just had a great week and a half between Scaricon, getting to go to that con all weekend, and then we had a great interview last week. It was a little interesting because we had to broadcast from Magenta Manor instead of Castle Wolfenstein, so we had to make do. We don't have the technology that Wolfie has, but unfortunately, Wolfie was using that technology to battle a race of hostile aliens that had come down to Castle Wolfenstein and forced us to record here. We offered to go help, but Wolfie's like, I got this. Like, you have no idea. Wolfie's an experienced monster hunter, and he said aliens are really not that different. So, uh, fortunately, he was able to clear that up, no problem. So, next week, um, not this week's episode. Next week's episode, we'll be back up at Castle Wolfenstein. So, we're glad that got taken care of and sorted out. But speaking of Scaricon, we met a ton of really awesome people. A lot of people who had vending booths. You know, people that were selling, like Deadly Grounds coffee, Fiona, Frightfully Clean. It used to be Fiona's Fright Shop. Obviously, our friends over at Rough House Publishing. Um, we met a lot of podcasters. The folks from the Super Retro Throwback. The gentleman from the Dorkening Dark Discussions, which I a passing knowledge of these gentlemen, but had never actually met and interacted with them, so that was really nice. Leo and Kevin from and Mike from the Dorkening, and who were also judges, and Phil and Mike and Eric from Dark Discussions, getting to meet all these guys, getting to interact with some of the folks who won awards, and I don't have a script, so I'm just going this. That Strange show, they won Most Humorous. They were really cool. We chatted with some folks came from the 508 Productions, which we did at Rock and Shock last year, but we talked to a few more people now. And they're going to come on the show to talk about their upcoming film, which I'm really excited about because they're all going to come down and be in studio with us, which is great. Yeah, there's too many to mention now, and if I didn't mention you, please don't take offense. It's just I didn't write up a script. I'm just kind of doing this by the seat of my pants here. I also want to mention, while I'm thinking about it, Ben Goldsmith and his Seance comics. He's going to be coming on. We're going to be talking about some of the stuff that he's done. He's a comic book writer, and you know how we like our comic book writers on the show. So, also, if you haven't seen it, there is a horror-themed app. It's just all horror news. You can make connections with horror friends. There's also like a dating component to it. It's called Slasher. We met the gentleman, Damon, who created this app, and we downloaded it, and it's a lot of fun. Like, there's a lot of really cool stuff on there, and it's constantly improving. So there's a lot of stuff that's on there now, but there's more stuff that's going to be added in the future, and I'm really, really excited for it. So I just wanted to shout Slasher out. But speaking of the podcast awards, we were really excited about this. This is something that happened on Sunday of the last day of Scaricon, and a lot of the folks that we met were judges. Like directly across from us was Crest Winchester, Mr. D Photo. He does amazing professional photography work. Follow him on Instagram. It's some fantastic stuff, and he was a really great guy, very energetic, very exuberant. we had a really good time being directly across from that booth because we were really entertained. It was a good time. But he was one of the judges. He also emceed the whole award show. And we were up for 2 awards. We were up for the best interview and best overall. I'm still not used to knowing which hand and this camera. I got to get used to this. I got to do more of these. And our good friends Trick or Treat Radio, which you know that we're tight with those guys, especially because Johnny Wolfenstein produces both our show and hosts that one. They were up for best long form, and they were also up for best overall podcast as well. So I was really, really excited because I was like, great, we have a 40% chance of somebody from the Grand Guignol Network winning best overall podcast, and that would be amazing. Like, I don't even care if it's us or them. Like, as long as one of us wins, it would be great. Unfortunately, neither of us won best overall podcast. However, Trick or Treat Radio did win for best long form podcast. So congratulations, guys. That was really awesome. I was so pumped up about that. And when it came time for the best interview award, and if you remember, we submitted our interview with the cast of Megalodon. Well, we took home the award for best interview. You can see that there. This is the first annual Scaricon Best Interview Award, and we were so excited. We yelled, we screamed. I got a little emotional when I got up there, thanking people like Johnny Wolfenstein for being our producer and never missing an episode. And everybody else who competed, everybody else who took the time to submit shows. I think they said there was 150 different podcasts that submitted shows for all these different categories. Best short form, best long form, most humorous, best host, best overall. That wasn't something that you submit. That was something that you were chosen. So we were honored just to be even mentioned. Of the 150 shows, they whittled it down to 5, and us and Trick or Treat Radio were 2 of those 5. So that was a huge honor to be thought of as one of the 5 best podcasts of this 150. So that was really, really awesome, and it meant a lot to us. It meant a lot for us to get this interview award because we're not typically an interview show, and this was really our first interview with somebody we didn't know, and we're just kind of we had 5 people on the show. I want to thank them individually. It was Dominic Pace, Ego Makitas, Carolyn Harris, Paulina Laurent, and Elizabeth Cron. You were all so phenomenal, and you've continued to be really, really good to us, connecting on social media and, supporting us and helping promote us. So I really want to thank you guys for doing that as well. I'm trying to think of what else. Oh, speaking of shark interviews, we were lucky enough to get a chance to talk to Majama. Now, if you aren't familiar with them, you should be, and you will be soon. They are releasing later on this summer a movie called Bad CGI Sharks, and it is more awesome than it even sounds. So, the way this came about was I reached out to those guys on social media because I had heard about this. I saw a trailer and I was like, this is amazing. Oh my God, where has this been my whole life? And I reached out to them. I sent out an email, and their intern, Chumley, who won't be an intern. As soon as this movie comes out, he's going to have tons and tons of offers from everywhere in Hollywood. I think he's got a really good range. He could play anywhere from 18 to 35. He could be the teen heartthrob. He could be a jock. He could be a nerd. He could pretty much do any action, drama, comedy, romance. Like he could do it all. He's a jack of all trades. Got back to me, he emailed me back and said, Majama would love to come on with you guys and, help promote the film. And, they ended up sending us a screener, and it was just, we had to watch it twice because we were laughing too much. It's one of the funniest movies I've seen this year. And of the, I think I've watched at this point 148 movies. It's somewhere in there, 148, 150, 145. I don't know, somewhere in there. I'd have to check my log, but it was maybe the funniest movie I've seen this year. Um, and that includes just going to see The Dead Don't Die, the new Bill Murray, Adam Driver, Chloe Sevigny uh, zombie movie. That was really funny. Um, I really enjoyed Godzilla. This might be my favorite movie of the year, to be honest. Bad CGI sharks. Not just saying that, but I am a shark aficionado, and I love when the genre is treated well. And this was really, really funny. I really admired all the work that these guys put in. And it's Matt and Jason Ellsworth and Matteo Molinari, and they play Matt and Jason and Bernardo. Bernardo is kind of like the way I describe him, his character, he's kind of like an omniscient narrator who also kind of like assists uh, Matt and Jason along their journey. So definitely, when this comes out, support them. They're going to have shirts and obviously the movies, but they're going to have all kinds of different swag, and I'm so looking forward to this. Um, that's our show for this week. So the episode that drops Thursday the 20th is going to be our interview with Matt and Jason and Mateo of Majama. They unfortunately did not. They were not dressed for bed, so they were not Majama in pajamas, because that would have just written itself. It was a great chat with these guys. We had a really good time. I think it's a really funny episode as well. Mateo likes puns just as much as I do, so that's right there. That's all you need to hear. That's all the motivation you need to check this show out. But yeah, so we have that. Next week we're going to be doing an episode on RuPaul for Pride, to celebrate Pride Month, because RuPaul is a very influential figure in the drag community, for sure. And she's got a long history, a lot of interesting films and a lot of interesting appearances, and definitely, there's, if you've ever seen To Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar, her wardrobe choice in that film particularly was very, very interesting. So um, if you have any questions, any comments, you want to suggest anything that maybe you think we should watch, like But I'm a Cheerleader, that film with Natasha Lyonne, and I forget the other young lady that's in that. Um, that's a really good movie, and RuPaul in that film does not dress in drag, but plays a counselor at a gay conversion camp. Really, really interesting film, and I urge everybody to check it out because it's really good. Um, we're not sure who the second character is going to be. We might end up just covering John Waters because of his contributions. So I think that's going to be a good episode. But if you have any questions, any comments, thoughts on who we should cover, because you know us, we don't just keep our celebrations of good characters and good people into a specific box. Like if we want to do Halloween for 2 months, we'll do Halloween for 2 months. Like we do what we want, and we want to hear from you guys. So please either comment below or reach out to us on social media. I think pretty much everybody who follows us on here and watches these videos follows us on some form of social media or another. So one more thing before I go, because it's something I've touched on in the last couple of these videos, is my facial hair. As you can see, I changed things up a little bit. I did trim this. I trimmed it up here. I trimmed my neck. I trimmed this, which initially I thought might have been a good idea, but then, it's uh, uh, a bad facial hair design when you look at yourself in the mirror and you laugh. So, and Ash just keeps telling me she can't take me seriously looking like this, but I'm trying to maybe do like the Fu Manchu thing, but I don't know. I'm thinking of dyeing this pink to go with this because I'm gonna re-dye this in a couple of days. So I'm not sure, uh, but comment with your thoughts down below. I'd be interested to hear what some of you folks say. So I think with that being said, I'm going to wrap this up. And one more picture of this. I'm really proud of this. We worked really hard. We did a lot of great stuff, and hopefully next year, maybe we take home another one. We're certainly going to try our best. So thank you to everybody at Scaricon. Thank you to all the podcasts who submitted episodes. Thank you to everybody that we met at the show. I know that there's no way I could possibly name you all in this one video. This whole video is already over 15 minutes long, and if I were to mention everybody that we talked to, it would be an hour or so. So thank you to everyone. If I haven't thanked you individually, I will through some articles. But definitely check us out in a couple of days. Bad CGI Sharks. The episode is called Guilty Pleasure, because, again, I love my puns. And hopefully next time I see you, I will have a different hairstyle, facial hairstyle. We'll see, though. All right. Take care. Stay awesome. And see you next time.